So happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to the Note Show. Today we're going to talk about why you might want to create a nonprofit for various housing and real estate adventures.
Right.
And Maurice has a couple of guests. Maurice Thomas Jr., he's a regular here. And we've invited Idris Talib and Dr. Roberta Jones. They've never been here before, so it's an adventure for them. And Maurice, maybe you can introduce your guests and what you have in mind today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Greg. Greg, I appreciate you. Always setting up the platform here. Dr. Jones and Idris here are two individuals that I hold very high here as it relates to one getting our group homes established here, coupled with marrying it with a nonprofit foundation charity. Dr. Jones will actually explain the difference between those three. But again, Dr. Jones and Idris has been is mission critical as Nadia and I, expand our business and locate different homes, different things of that nature. I don't have a formal introduction for Idris or Dr. Jones. I'm pretty sure both of them could kind of just dive into who they are and what
Yeah.
they currently have going on. So I'll punt it over to Dr. Jones. And Dr. Jones, if you can just tell everyone who you are and kind of like what you do currently.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm Dr. Roberta Jones. I currently is in Cleveland, Ohio, in the United States. Let me just change this. What I do is I I prepare 501c3s for nonprofits. Been doing it for over 28 years and done over 18,000 of them.
Wow.
Wrote the bill for the White House faith base and hanging around with the government, and now is initiating First Steps for Entrepreneurship, which is a training tool for new business startups.
Hey,
You
Dr.
know,
Jones. Dr. Jones, can you start from the top? And can you, is something in the background that's playing in your background that's kind of like overshadowing your voice a bit? Could you actually start from the top so everyone can catch that?
I don't have anything planned. I've been listening,
Ah,
but not playing.
okay.
Okay, that's not me. Let me make sure I shut everything down. Okay, can you hear me now?
Much better.
But that's not me. I can hear that noise also. Okay, it's Dr. Roberta Jones, and I'm maybe I need to put that microphone. Um, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I do 501c3s. Been taught by the IRS 28 years ago to do them. And then by the time 2001 came and the White House faith base, I was promoted to doing that. And wrote the bill, and then was participating in a government program called the Small Business Development, in which I wrote talking points, and has now developed a class to train small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs to be U.S. government contractors. So I believe that people need to start from the beginning. So I'm teaching them economics, faith, creativity, and leadership. That's what I do. But my foundation is I wrote the IRS back in 96 and asked them to train me how to do the 501c3, and they trained me, and I've been 28 years at this marketplace. And it's been a lot of fun, a lot of fun. He invited me today because he wanted me to show you guys um, what is a nonprofit. It's one of the statuses of a corporate entity in the United States. You know, we have the sole proprietor, the C corporation, then we have the LLC partnership. Well, with the for profit C corporation, we have also what is called the not for profit. And I have actually classes on all of these entities. With that entity, the IRS, it has a law that says anyone, how can I share my screen? What's on my screen? How do I
Yeah, you go under present. One sec here.
present? Okay,
Yeah,
under
present and then share screen.
share screen. Okay, share screen. Okay, share screen. Window. Okay, cool. Sound good to me. Share. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah, we can now.
You can?
Yes.
Okay. And so the IRS wrote a law, and the law is exempt organizations. And what they do is five fingers. The law simply says anyone that's making money within the United States territorial boundary must pay the government a fee or tax. Real simple law. So what they did is they divided up into five charitable resources. First is faith, and that's your codes here 001 to 029. And you guys can get a copy of this. And then is education 030. And they identified the types of purposes in a company in order for you to get this type of recognition for to be excused from paying taxes. So these educationals down to 149. Then we got our charitables, which is from social clubs, amateur programs, youth programs, all the way up to the top of the list from youth programs, 349. And then we pick up another part is 560 over here to our right. We pick up 560 down to 575. Then we come back over and pick up our charitable housing, which is our numbers are 400 all the way down to let's say 463. Now, what does that mean? It means that pictures of me at the White House hanging out with the men and women of God, of society. And so what you do is it's divided up into increments. So if you have a program, your purpose is education, charter schools, youth programs, transitional housing, homeless programs. That's a certain type of 501. If you are into housing, building, community economic development, low to moderate income housing, redevelopment, area redevelopment, or are you into commercial, real estate, radio and TV station, business development and tracking, becoming a credit counseling, or you can be a CDFI, publications and internet services. Now, I said all that to really simply say that with these, how do I stop sharing? Go back to present.
No, I can take it off.
Okay. So basically, what the IRS actually did is that there's two types of entrepreneurs. There's two types. You're a business entrepreneur, and that is you create a product or services, you sell or produce that product and service, and you make an income from it. Social entrepreneurship, which is the new guru at the table, says, I want to create a for-profit entity that will actually, from that for-profit entity, have a purpose of a nonprofit purpose. So I want to create for-profit to now fund my nonprofit. Because see, nonprofits are still C corporations, but they don't do anything to make money. Their purpose is mission. And like for instance, Mr. Thomas want to actually do a shelter where he's housing people. All right. Well, the people don't have enough money to pay for it, but somebody else would pay for it. So if he provided as a nonprofit, but he can create a for-profit that will help him produce that work. And that's what I do. I'm a pro at it. So whether you are a not-for-profit that want to create a for-profit, or you are a for-profit wants to create a nonprofit, they're now merging together in this season. And that's what I like about what I do. Because now I have both sides of the fence and not just one. Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing. And Dries is going to kind of dive into his background. He's also known as the pretty house guy. So yeah, I'll go ahead and punt it over to you, Dries.
Okay. So my name is Idris Talib. I have been doing real estate for the past 21 years.
Okay.
My background is actually in engineering, finance, and healthcare. So those are the various sectors that I've worked in. As a matter of fact, you've been talking about the 501c3. I actually created a 501c3. This was probably back in 2007, I want to say.
Okay.
It was a jobs, skills training, and development center.
Okay.
And the goal was to help at-risk populations become self-sufficient through three main areas. One was academics, trade, and entrepreneurship. Those are the three tracks. And the whole goal, like I was saying, was help them develop skill sets so they can become self-sufficient. With that being said, in terms of the type of real estate that I do, I have two different business models. One is more so a high-end business model. I call it for unsophisticated, successful entrepreneurs. A lot of times when you start to have some success in business, everything may not be, in terms of your finances, everything may not be structured properly at all times. What do a lot of entrepreneurs do when they make a lot of money? They write everything off their taxes. They do $1 million, but they show 30,000 of income. And therefore, that causes limitations in terms of what they're able to do. So I can help them, get into a house. And then what I focus on right now is shared living investing. The thing that I love most about it is we are actually able to address the affordable housing crisis. And as being an entrepreneur, we're paid handsomely as a reward for it. I always use the phrase that I can show someone how they can generate multi-family profits with a single family residence while helping different sectors of the population that may be at risk who can't afford housing right now. So that's just a little bit about what I do.
Where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So when you said that academic, trade, and entrepreneurship, you were developing those skills in your program?
So that was the basis of the program. And then I would bring in experts to teach, whatever track it is that they want to go on. So we were looking for, like just certified instructors. And we wanted the individuals to have some type of a certificate or some type of a certification demonstrating proficiency in whatever area it is that they were interested in.
Okay. And you started talking about the shared living investing?
Yes.
Tell me what that is.
So shared living basically is an opportunity. Some people have different names from it. It's you're in a house and each person has their own individual room. Everything is fully furnished. And it's basically like renting out rooms, and there's different type of populations that you can serve. You can do, we have a high-end population. We have working class individuals. We may serve at-risk groups such as individuals with mental health disorders, maybe intellectual developmental disabilities. It may be people who are victims of domestic violence. It may be individuals leaving prison, reentry population. It could be older. It could be older individuals. So there's just a variety of different types of populations that we can serve in this business model. One of the toughest things, especially for individuals who are lower income, is being able to qualify to stay in a decent place. In Atlanta, it's going to cost you at least almost $2,000 a month to stay anywhere decent. And then you need to have like a 620 or 650 credit score. And then you need to make 3 times the income. So 3 times 2,000, 6,000 a month. You need to make $72,000 a year just to be able to qualify to stay anywhere decent when there's a large segment of the population who doesn't have that income. And, one of the staples of our program is that everyone deserves to have a clean, safe, affordable place to stay. And that's what we provide for the individuals who stay in our houses.
And you buy these houses under your nonprofit or for-profit?
So this is something that's new. So I don't leverage a nonprofit for any of it. Everything that I have is for profit, and I have various ways in terms of being able to acquire some of these houses because some of them I'm either going to acquire them through creative real estate. Another way that I acquire them is by doing rental arbitrage as well.
So that was a great question, Dr. Jones, and that's kind of like where I am looking to leverage your expertise coupled with Drees and kind of marry the two together. Because that's our biggest thing right now. We need more homes. We need more homes. Very similar to what Drees is saying. We have, I mean, I think across the country we have, this crisis here as it relates to affordable homes for at-risk population in general. But Drees, he has a very unique model that coupled with your expertise on leveraging, your foundation and your 501c and different things of that nature to actually acquire those properties. Oh, well, let me ask you this, Dr. Jones. Could you touch on briefly how or how is the process or what is the process of using your 501c to actually acquire properties? Can you touch on that briefly?
Oh yeah, there's many doors. I just realized, and I'm looking for it while I do that. Okay, I have it in there. Um. Okay, how can I say this? Um. Let's say we got a country. It's called America.
Uh-huh.
America went through a time where they had to say, quote unquote, fair, decent, and affordable housing. So basically, a lot of people left the South, and I'm going back some years now, and,
Mhm.
and came to the North, and they were basically in tenement housing. So the government came in because that's what their job is. Each agency of the federal government, which is 15 of them, they introduced an agency called HUD. And when they introduce a housing and urban development, its foundation is to find or rectify or prepare individual housing. So
Mhm.
what the government did was, when you think of Uncle Sam, they have a whole nation to think about. So how they did it was they set up an agency and they put a secretary that reports to the president. And so they start creating programs according to the years and the time that they were that was upon them at the time. So
Mhm.
at that time, they decided to do what we call the projects. Okay,
Mm.
and so they put them all. They went from the tenement houses to the projects. Then they took them out of the projects because they just became death traps, and they put them next into single family homes. And then that's around the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and there's a lot of years, 90s, to where in the 90s, when I actually started, they start saying, um, um, you would take a low income community according to the HUD income limits. You can go to HUD.gov and just write the word income limits, and they have decided according to the status quo of people income what neighborhoods and what cities and what their actual income is really. So then in the 80s they mixed the houses together and they said, okay, I'm going to put a $500,000 house in the inner city right next to a $20,000 house. They did that in communities, real strong up here in Cleveland, Ohio. They did that real strong. And
Mhm.
their attitude was, you will now see me get up and go to work every day, and that's going to make you get up and go to work. No, that made you rob me. Okay. So that didn't work. Okay. So you got neighborhoods now where you have 20, $30,000 house sitting next to a $500,000 house. The people said they felt like prisoners. There was no community to go, and they always felt in danger of getting robbed. Okay. So now we've moved it all the way up to where we're going to go past the housing crisis of anyone can get a house if they had a 600 credit score. You didn't have to show your income. So now we're going to make it past 2009. 2009 really crumbled it all, and they started all over. So now you got several things going on here. You're always going to have HUD. Then HUD said, well, we're going to have FHA. Now, you're a nonprofit under FHA if you are buying homes, remodeling them, and putting a low-income person in there or making it affordable. The word now is affordable. Whether the house is affordable or the person is a person that is let me put like, I don't want to say affordable for them, and I don't want to get used to calling them low income. Okay, right. So the concept is the housing have to be affordable, or the person have to be a certain income limit that it qualified for the affordable housing. Okay, I get that. Okay, so then you have your FA, then you have your Section 8 housing that says, okay, I want the landlords to rent me their place. Landlord said, no, I ain't doing that. So now on the housing side, for let's say a for-profit business that's a government contractor, you can go purchase houses and the government can buy those houses from you. Okay, that's under FHA. Then you have the FHA program that says, if I let you in the program, what you can do is you can have up to 10 houses. We have our own mortgage company called the 203K Mortgage. That's what it's called, 203K Mortgage. And what we'll do is that because your nonprofit is doing those two, affordable housing and working with that minority, okay? And minority there, I don't want to use the word minority because it means something else on the other side. I'm going to say a person that needs affordable housing, all right? And so what we're going to do is that we have programs that's going to, if you're going to build that house, then we'll put you in a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution. Your nonprofit can become that. You actually become a bank. I got so many nonprofits that like of your caliber that's doing housing, literally becoming banks. That's what they are. They're banks. And you have to be a nonprofit. And what they do is the money comes from the U.S. Department of Treasury. And what happened, you get that designation, and now you get money to your organization from the Department of Treasury to give you guys some loan money so you can go build the house.
Yes.
I can keep going. I can. Another big one was when in 2009 they took the housing, and when they took the housing, the big nonprofits, the billion-dollar nonprofits, went to the government and went to the banks and said, "Okay, what are you guys going to do with these houses? All right, okay, give them to us, and we will recruit nonprofits under our program, and those nonprofits can need an investor." So you guys can become the investor. The nonprofit actually does the work. The investor gives the money for it. The investor get their money back out of it. And the nonprofit sells the house to a low amount of income. I can keep going and going and going. And we will not run the federal program. Now, then we have our other one. The ones I like is I like supplying the stock. So General Services Administration, U.S. buying agency of the government, General Services. You're a for-profit organization, not a nonprofit. For-profit organization can go in and buy properties, buildings, commercial properties, and the government will buy them from you. So what's your choice? And we're not going to talk about the type of houses you're doing, Mr. Thomas. Transitional housing, low-income housing, transitional housing programs for people to live in, programs that will pay their rent, light, gas, water, put furnaces in there. We got all kind of community groups, and guess what? Yeah, now this is not the lack of housing, as you asked for earlier, Mr. Thomas. You said
Right.
we're looking for housing. No, we're looking for investors to help us with our housing because I can show you the house.
Absolutely. So real quick, Dr. Jones, it looks like Dries got urgent matter to get to.
Okay.
Hey, Dries, can you tell everyone where they can find you or kind of reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I have an emergency. It just comes with real estate. A tree done fell on the roof of one of the houses in somebody's car, so I got to run out there real fast. I
So,
apologize.
Okay,
But
give me
y'all can reach me any social media whatsoever. The Pretty House Guy, or just my name. I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. You can also email myself. Matter of fact, you know what? I can put it in the chat real fast on my email address. All right.
because I'm gonna be in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. I'm due down there for a conference.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I would love to maybe we can, grab a cup of coffee or lunch or something. I would love that. Okay, I just put it in the chat. I'm so sorry that I have to, briefly go like this, but maybe we can. You say you do this every weekend, Maurice?
Yes. I'll catch up with you. Maybe we have some capacity next Saturday, and we'll get you back on here.
All right.
Thanks for coming out.
All right. Thank y'all very much. Great meeting you.
thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
So Dr. Ivan, just to catch you up, Dr. Jones was kind of touching on her, the relationships that she has and the processes and systems that she have in as it relates to nonprofits, how to leverage the nonprofit and the different resources out there through HUD, through the federal government, and different things of that nature. So she was touching on that. Dries kind of touched on who he is and how he has his shared living. He has a shared living business model. Group homes, like he has different moving parts there, as I explained to you guys before. One thing he didn't kind of say is him and one of the young ladies out of Houston, Lynette, they actually have like a group home conference that they actually have been going. I think in February they visited New Orleans. March was Houston. They just did Charlotte on April 12th. They have Atlanta May 17th, Detroit June 14th, Dallas June 18th, and Orlando July 17th. So long story short, I could still, I mean, still, I could get that information out there for maybe he can come back and maybe put that out there. But the point is, the reason why I'm saying it is he didn't give himself opportunity to kind of put that out there because of that emergency. But Dr. Ivan, um, yeah, man. My goal is to leverage Dr. Jones to get more properties because I think I already told you guys if I get 3 more homes, 4 max, you won't see me on social media no more. You won't even know Maurice exists.
Can I propose something for you, Maurice?
Sure thing.
Why settle at 3 or 4? Why don't you just partner up with other people and multiply yourself?
That's a great call out. I think at that point it becomes management. And I think you touched on that when we conversed the other day. That was real profound when you said your wealth come from your relationships there. So that was powerful. But the reason why I say that is I just want to be cool, calm, collected, sit down, read books, hang out with my children. I don't want to do a lot of the business stuff. So if I can be almost like mortgage notes where you can acquire a note and you don't got to worry about it, if I could do that, I would. But maybe that's a conversation. Maybe I am, hindering myself, a bit. So I don't know. I'll talk to you about that, Dr. Ivan. That's a great question.
So Dr. Jones, you piqued my interest. I know you've been on the previous show with Desi, but I think you expanded on your wheelhouse. It seems like. So could you tell us more what you're doing?
Are you
with
in
the
California?
puppets? Sorry.
Are you in California?
No, I'm in Florida. I'm in God's country here.
Okay. Well, because I've had a year in dealing with the notes, and I can really talk notes now.
Okay.
When I first met that group, I met Matt that introduced me to Desi. And I had dinner with those guys in California, and the first thing I said was, "What's a note?"
That's what I did.
Note, and they were like, "Okay." And so I had to learn real estate. Okay, so let me tell you what I learned, and I learned a lot. State itself um, has the state itself, whatever state you're in, is responsible for the house. Okay, that house is in their territory. And think of every state with a governor as their own kingdom. And then they go and report to the big king, which is the president. But those houses are in there. Now, what had happened is that the nonprofits are getting play from the government, and that is they're saying take these foreclosed houses. They're getting play from the government in getting the money to purchase these nonprofit houses. Now, what wrote people off is the word nonprofit. I hate that word. We make buku money. I actually created a course concerning it, and the course is about the legal structure of it. Okay, what it said is that if you are a shareholder, you want to start a company in the United States, a C corp, you own that company because you own shares, but the company itself owns the business. You own the shares, but the company owns the business and all the assets. What it did when it came down to the C corporate, to the charitable, which is the C corporation, it says that the board owns the nonprofit because the nonprofit has no shares. It's the only reason why it's called a nonprofit because it has no shares or stock.
Right.
But it's ran by a board of directors, are the owners. Now, that nonprofit, or what we call charitable organization, own all the assets. It owns millions of dollars. So what it does is that because it's so regulated by law, I mean, in this square, and that's all you keep is this square. So they gave you out because the government is such, especially the IRS, is such a number person. I couldn't figure out why the IRS, which numbers every single thing, would have a 501c3 charitable, a 501c2, okay, which does housing, which exempts property taxes from you paying property taxes. That's the C2.
Hey, Dr. Jones, you got a visual of that? You know, we got different type of learners. You got a visual of that?
Yes, I do.
Got,
okay. And I have to get in 1 second. When y'all start talking, I'll get it. And the last part of it is a 501c3 charitable, 501c3 foundation. With the foundation, what it does is that, let's say you're a nonprofit, you're an investor. You loaned your nonprofit $100,000. All right? You purchased the house, rehab the house. It owes you money back with its interest. When it goes back to paying you the money back, okay, and your interest is taxable, you can throw that money down into your foundation and take the withdrawal like you want to. And the draw is to an individual. One of them is to another nonprofit. The third one is to a charitable cause. I want you to learn real estate. I want you to be a lawyer, and I'm going to give it to you. And the fourth one is to buy other assets, whether those assets are car dealerships, airplanes, anything. So what happened is that people look at the point of the nonprofit saying, I'm not going to make a profit. No, that organization does not make a profit, but you as an investor gets money because you take the money that you invested, you get it back, you can take the interest, put it back into the foundation, and it's released to you without all them taxes. The key is you don't want to pay taxes. No one wants to pay taxes, but it's the law, and we have to pay taxes.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you print it out and talk, and I'll go find that and give it to you.
I Dr. Ivan, that was a great question, and I think that's something that Paul kind of covers when it comes to the cost segregation and different things of that nature.
Mhm.
So I'll be very interested in hearing, how people are leveraging their nonprofits, because I think someone touched on it earlier. Like, you don't want to write off everything that you earn, as it relates to your business. Of course, you don't want to pay a lot of taxes as well. So it's always a healthy balance, and I know Paul touches on that a lot. Um, yeah, we got to get that replay going. I got to watch that replay, Greg.
I know that. I know that. I have a friend of mine who is passionate about showing virtue and I guess chivalry in young and entrepreneurship in young men and young people in particular. So he set up his nonprofit and he travels all around. And what I found out, again, Dr. Jones, please verify this, is that his nonprofit pays him a salary and also pays him, I think, part of his healthcare costs and covers his travels. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's got his foundation is very, very, very successful here in Florida, and he's branched out to even in Georgia, Wisconsin, and he's actually branched out to other countries, uh, notably Africa, where they're taking these skills that he's trying to show the young people, and showing them how to become basically entrepreneurs and use that to help society. So it's interesting how
Yeah.
he's able to take that passion and do good, uh, as compared to other nonprofits, which I think have lost the way. But I'm not going to get into that.
No, that's a great call out. Dr. Jones touched on social entrepreneurship at the
Right.
beginning and kind of
Oh, she
defined it
did.
there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I
No,
was on.
that was a great example though.
Yeah.
And
Dr.
he's
Ivan was stuck in nowhere land with trying to get in the show.
Greg didn't want to let me in. He didn't. But anyway.
I didn't see you. We've been texting back and forth.
Mhm.
I'm not sure where Dr. Ivan was, but he wasn't here.
I came in later on, 7 minutes into Dr. Jones's presentation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Dr. Jones, I wanted to ask you this real quick. The reason why I asked for a visual is because, the difference between a foundation and a nonprofit and different things of that nature. People need to. I think people need to know the differentiation between the two, how they differentiate between the two or the three. Excuse me. Um, so yeah, I mean, let me just stop talking. I'm too excited here. My bad.
well. This is the meeting that I did. You can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, I did this one at the Paper Source Conference last year. Okay, and you guys can see it.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. This was Las Vegas. I was one of the speakers. Okay, and we've been talking about how I'm not an attorney. I'm a community economic developer. I wrote the faith-based bill, all that good stuff about me. And we talk about promissory notes, what a note is, a mortgage is a loan, a title deed. That was really for me, though. Okay. And investors, buys a note, right? I got that part. And then the number one problem is we have performing notes and nonprofit notes, non-performing notes. Investors, we access. I met people that buy non-performing notes. I was like, really? And then they try to keep them and re-deal with them and put them back in their homes. So then I met people where the homeowners need money to pay their mortgages. And then we went to the piece on the 501c3. Okay. A nonprofit is a U.S. corporation that has no stock or shareholders. The exempt purpose outlined in the Internal Revenue Code is charitable, religious, educational, scientific, and the prevention. Okay. When it came to the charitable, what they did is that it's the stress and underprivileged, advancement of education, okay, lessening government burdens, lessening neighborhood tensions, and that's all have to do with housing, okay. And we talked about how I set it up, the conflict of interest and all that. This is and how I got a 501 within 30 days. Okay, we went through that spiel. And then, okay, the Title II is a 501c2 is there's 28 IRS 501c3 codes, 28 of them. And
Wow.
C2 is a title holding. It means that if your nonprofit holds title to that property, it should be taken, taxes should be taken out. A lot of people think just because they got that in 501c3 that it will exempt the property from taxes. They don't do that. It does not do that. And so we go back and you get a title holding. You can't have a title holding unless you have a 501c3. It holds title to all the property for a C3. All right. Then we got to talking about affordable housing that a household can pay for while they still have money for necessities. Okay. Remember, I'm the teacher and I'm learning this and I'm teaching a beginning class. Okay. What does HUD define as income? The full amount before any payroll, deductions of wages, salary, overtime pay, commissions. Okay, this is HUD income limit, and this was done for Los Angeles, Long Beach. The income was based upon 91,000 before taxes, and if you have, let's say, a column of 4 people in your family, then it goes like this. If it's stream low, then they start doing houses, especially up in New Jersey next to New York, where when they build it up, the beautiful homes, they come up these long steps, and right up under it, right on the first floor, was a 1 bedroom, and that person's income would be 25,000. Then the person upstairs would be 41, and the one at the top would be 66. In order to do those houses to be eligible for HUD money, then those people have to be in that pay range. Every time you do something, always ask, what's the HUD income limit? Automatically. I don't care if it's for profit or not. Then this is the program about the neighborhood stabilization program, in which they actually got the foreclosed houses from the banks and now sell them through your nonprofit. Okay, back to affordable housing. And then the investors and the nonprofits came together, which is cool. We want that because the nonprofits don't have any startup money. So, yes, can nonprofits make loans? Sure, they can. Can they accept loans? Yes, they can. An investor, a type of nonprofit funder looking for a return on his or her investment. So, an investor is the same thing whether you're working with a nonprofit or a for profit, and a donor also. Okay, is an individual, provides low, often sporadic financial support. Okay, now these are the types of programs that the investor loans the nonprofits money for charitable purposes by buying notes. They either buy the mortgage, we have the property, sell the property below the moderate income. Investor receive loans repayment and capital gain, and nonprofit receive its income is charitable performance. So it takes the money from the investor, and it's over here to the nonprofit. The nonprofit uses it for renovation, sell it, and the investor gets back his loan money. So that's why we want to really come where on the for-profit side, the investor wants to own parts of that home. They can't own it. They can't own the notes. They cannot own it. When the investor actually gives the nonprofit owns it. That's what turned people off in California because they're so used to owning the LLC, or they were so used to owning the house and all that. No, They are only the investor. So you got people, like you said, you just want to buy notes. Okay, let you buy the notes and let the other person do the rest. All right.
Absolutely.
So then, and that was the discrepancy a year ago. And I really didn't understand why people was getting mad. But then I got people buying almost $3 million worth of foreclosed house from the state of California. Why people are sitting there getting mad? I don't understand. The investor can send a percentage of his taxable gain to the foundation trust. Okay?
Ooh.
Yeah. And also, you can take money out of your IRA and send it to your foundation without being penalized also.
Wait. Hold on. Let's go back to that one.
So
I
the
need that one again.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm on the Zoom.
So here's when she went to slide 20 here on her deck, the first thing I thought about was a land trust and how we always put our investments in land trusts. However, you know what? This property, this private
No.
foundation, yeah. So Dr. Jones, can you kind of cover that can you cover that slide again? That kind of went over my head a bit.
Okay, 1 second. All right. You know, it's nice when you're training other folks, right?
Absolutely. You're doing a great job training Nadia. I appreciate you, your time and your patience.
I trained my niece to take my brother out of the nursing home, and they're down at Walmart, and she wanted to tell me what was the cord for the iPad. Her and my brother is having an argument over the iPad charger, baby. All right, she's taking my spot. All right, okay. What do you want me to go over again?
So back on slide 20, you don't have to go back there. You know, most of us we don't buy non-performing notes and mainly notes in Jersey, New York, and different things of that nature because of the long foreclosure process when it comes to acquiring that property. But most recently here, when you have the foundation trust, I'm interested to hear how that actually works. So the slide before this one, number 34 to be exact.
Okay. No, that's the HUD. Let's back it up.
Is this one in?
This one right here.
Yeah, or the one before that.
Okay. What you looking for?
I like number 20. If you can go back to number 20, I know what that one looked like for sure. I was studying that one. Or that one.
That's the title holder.
Right. So that's a 501c2. What's the difference between a 501c2 and a 501c4? What's the main difference between the two? Well, no. I mean, that's not the main question. The question is, should I put a house or a property under a 501c2 or would it be a C4? Which one will give me better tax advantages?
Okay. It goes like this. You start off with a 501c3.
Yes.
I do have another video on that. You start off with a 501c3, which is charitable. All right? You have to start off with that. Let me all right, that's the law. All right. So now,
while you doing that, Dr. Jones, someone asked like where we're from. I'm originally from Ohio, but I reside in Georgia. And Dr. Ivan is in Florida, but I'm not sure where he originally from. So I'm gonna punt it over to you, Dr. Ivan.
I was born in the Dominican Republic, grew up in New York, and I've been in Florida for 16 years, moved from New Jersey, which is, Northern Jersey is about the same thing as New York.
Yep, I moved from, I was started in Cleveland, Ohio, went to New York, Jersey, worked in New York, and I stayed there for 15, 20 years and been gone ever since.
Now you live in what part of California?
No, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, you're in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, but you heard me say California.
Yes. You asked me if I was in California. I thought you were in California.
I was looking for, because what I'm looking for is a lot of people in California right now that have those nonprofits are making millions and foreclosed homes. The state is
Absolutely.
just giving it to them. They pay very little and sell them very big. Can you see this right here?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to really let me see. Can I zoom in some? Can you zoom in? Okay.
Yeah, that's much better.
All right. This is the IRS code list. This is in their magazine called the IRS 557. All right.
Uh-huh.
Way back down here on the page. All right. You see 501c1, C3, 1. Okay. I just want to make sure it's only doing one thing. All right. 501c1, C2, C3, C4, all the way down to 27.
Wow.
All right. Now, the 501c3 is the only one that allows you to get grant money.
Mm.
The only one that allows you to get grant money. 501c, you know them very well. Your fraternities, 501c1, 9, your beneficiary, your social clubs, real estate board, your teachers association, life insurance companies, all of them are nonprofits. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And all right. So under the C3, okay, is those 5 areas. So C3 is so strict. It's really strict, and they will put you in jail. So it's so strict that says no money shall inure, INURE, to the benefit of any individual person except for reasonable compensation for services rendered. Now, so what happened is that it needed another door. So what it did is that it allows the nonprofit 501c3 to go up here and now exempt properties under a separate 501, not the same. All right. So it holds title to all the assets of the C3. It holds its title,
Ah.
It holds the asset of the C3. Okay, got it.
holds the assets. See, I'm learning the words. I didn't know what a note was, y'all. It holds all the assets, the house, everything. If it's attached, it can hold it. It owns it, right? So, but this is what it is. If it makes money, all the money has to go to it. So now your 501c3 gonna buy a mall, which was very popular with the churches back in the 80s when I got started, right?
Mm.
All right, 90s. Okay. And so what happened is, so they were buying these big malls. So they bought it in the name of the 501c3, which is their church. Then they turned it over title to the 501c2 and paid no property taxes on it at all. So when that housing hit in 2009, I mean, I made more money from people coming over here buying those 501c1s and C2s, them title holders. I mean, I literally met people that said, I got 90 houses. Y'all got 90 houses? Yeah. And they had taxes on all them 90 houses, and the banks had taken their line of credit. One man was literally crying. He had a $300,000 line of credit taken from him because the banks took the lines, remember? And so he didn't have a way, so he dumped them all into his title holder and took the taxes off.
So I'm almost wondering, Dr. Jones, if Paul Levine was here. I'm just trying to think like him. So Paul does this thing with cost segregation here, and pretty much what I'm thinking about right now is estate planning. If I have a 501c3 and I also have a 501c2, would it make sense to put both of those under a trust, a living trust, irrevocable trust, whatever that may be? But have you seen anyone do estate planning in that nature, or do they just leave them separate?
I do it every day.
So this is what you do. I get it. Okay. Okay.
So you would put everything in a trust instead of a 501c2,
A 501c3 trust.
501c3 trust.
It's a trust. It's a 501c3, and I'm gonna find that for you in 1 minute. There's a 501c3. See how they name them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I discovered it's 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. So when I was in Vegas, everybody was trying to figure out 3, 2, 3.
Right.
3, 3, 2. I can see people in the lobby at the casino talking about, okay, I got your program. I think it's 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. I had a lot of fun. But no, that's not the way it's done. There's two types of trust. There's a trust in which you can just go to your friend, attorney, or accountant, and they drop these papers, notarize it, and say, okay, you got a trust.
Right.
Me and my attorney had a challenge because I was saying, well, who are you registering this trust to?
Right.
And he said, well, they just notarized their system and they just went and got a bank account and everything. Well, I didn't understand the for-profit trust. I didn't understand it at all. So what legal backing do you have for this trust? So at the end of the day, what ended up happening is I found out that my own personal attorney just stamped it and said, here's your trust. Okay, go get a bank account and put everything in his name. That's not how the trust. 1C3 charity, 501c3 foundation. Matter of fact, I was in the book. I was just in the book. I could show you what he did. I was just in there 2 seconds ago. I'm right here. Okay, I can go back into pretend. I don't want to. Okay, I'm learning how to do this, y'all.
Greg Dixon, you didn't tell everyone where you were from.
That's right.
Yeah, from I'm living near Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada.
Canada.
Well, about 3 hours drive, but people will know Vancouver. They won't know Merritt.
It's Merrick.
Merritt, Merritt.
Oh, Merritt. Okay.
Yeah, it used to be home of a big country music festival.
Mhm.
There's murals all over the town of country music stars, Reba McEntire and company.
Really?
Population 7,000.
Wow.
Okay. You ever heard of the Bill and Belinda Gates Foundation? She got mad at him. Now she's giving out a lot of his money. You notice that she's giving out major grants, right?
They got divorced.
Yeah, and she's giving away his money. She is. She's giving away major grants from her right now.
Yeah.
Well, you see this a foundation starts at a 501c3 foundation. Private foundations and public charities, okay? It's in the same magazine that you have here that I showed you, okay? In this trust, which is a foundation, same word, okay? This is a trust that you start with, but you're not an operating trust. All you do is dump money in it. You don't operate it. Not until 10 years, and the IRS will qualify you to do what Bill and Belinda Gates is. That trust will become just like your 501c3, where you can give out grant money and actually negotiate deals and all that.
Yeah.
So it's a private, non-operating. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the IRS website. We'll go to IRS.
Now, didn't Mark Zuckerberg take all his Facebook shares and put it in a foundation or a charitable foundation, and he gets paid by them?
Probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. So he's not taxed, right, Dr. Ivan? Well,
That's, yeah, I
I
think
was
so. Yeah, that he did that. People were praising him, but he was actually putting into his own foundation or his wife's foundation, and they weren't getting. I think they're not getting taxed on their shares, on their income.
is it wrong to say nice? I like it. I like the idea.
So,
There we go, Maurice. You have something to aspire to.
If you see this, I hope you can see this. If I can make the window fill it. See where it says private operating foundation, exempt operating foundation, and grant making foundation?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see those three? Okay.
Yes.
The IRS will allow us to go in the door as a 501c3 private operating foundation. Okay?
mhm.
And then after 10 years, it'll let us go back and be a grant making foundation. That's why Melinda Gates and them is a grant making foundation. Okay. So what ended up happening is that with your private one, I do have a video on that. Give me a minute, I'll go find it. But what happens is that it allows you to take money from the nonprofit and it takes money from the charity. Because the charity has one law that will put you in jail. No money shall inure, INURE. That means if you don't have a charitable purpose of getting this money, or you don't have a salary that's due to you, you can't have that money. Can't have it at all. If it's not for a loan that you're repaying, or a grant that you're giving someone for a charitable cause under the HUD income limit, or you getting paid, you can't have that money. So that's why the investors didn't like putting millions of dollars in it, because they can't go in there and take whatever they want to. You can't do it. So what we do is that we take that money that in the charity and put it in the private operating foundation. That's where it goes. So when I was there, they were buying the 501c3 from me, charity, and the 501c3 foundation. If you're really going to do some kind of housing and the C2 title holder, they bought the foundation first with the charity. They bought them both at the same time.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like this. I like this.
a minute for me to go get something for you, okay?
Sure thing. And Dr. Ivan, here's what I'm thinking. You know how you write a constitution for your dynasty trust?
Yes.
Of course, you know, guys like you and Desi and other individuals have mentioned how you will have a charitable portion of it where you will give out, you know, scholarships to family members and maybe scholarships to other charities and organizations as well. Just that charitable portion of it. Um, I guess what I'm looking at or what I'm thinking about is how all this tie in. I guess is ooh, I'm gonna say something wrong, you know, for the pet lovers. I was gonna say it's more than one way to skin a cat, but let me take that back.
It's out the
What
bag. Cat's out the
bag. So I don't know. Like maybe just all is on the same page here. I have to think through a little bit more, but this right here, Dr. Jones, you never taught me this. I feel like you holding back now.
You had just gotten your and you were trying to open your house.
You're right. I was taking baby steps. I had to get the house going first.
And you were just doing your house, and you really was. I got so many videos, you guys. I got tons of videos.
We can always do a part 2, Dr. Jones.
We could probably do a part 2. We're over an hour now.
Yeah, we could probably do a part 3 also.
But what I want you guys to understand is that what you're doing on the for-profit is very good, but don't forget that $1 billion door. Matter of fact, I was just looking at that in the folder right here. Let me look at this one more time. This one right here. Let me present this. We're going to go back to that, this one right here. These were some of the programs that I wanted to bring to the table. How HUD awards $3.6 billion for critical investment into operating the FHA program. Wherever the house was, if it's an empty lot, you can rebuild the house. It supports Section 8 and also housing for the elderly. Okay. And the FHA, I want a lot of my investors to get these loan money so you don't have to find your own investor. This can become your investor. All right. Then what we have the stabilization trust, in which these are the big boys that went to the banks and said, give us the housing. So what they did, the banks took the houses, the notes, the mortgages, the title deed, okay, from the individuals, and then they went over and the investors actually invested for opportunities into the National Community Stabilization Trust, in which they're using Enterprise, Neighborhood Works, LISC, Housing Network Partnership, National Urban League. Yeah, these are all housing units, y'all. So when y'all say like y'all looking for houses, no, you're not. And they're begging you to get these houses. I just be listening to people like, okay, this is one of my favorite ones, Seco, a national nonprofit out of New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got a contract, a for-profit business now, a LLC for $7.4 million welfare to work program. That's for your Idris, the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's what he's doing. All right. Same program to operate a for-profit and non-profit simultaneously. They created the LLC that went up, and their LLC, and they created a non-profit, and they received a grant for $656,000 to form a consortium of smaller community-based providers. So when you, Mr. Thomas, was talking about doing your housing program, and now you can get other nonprofits in other cities to join into your nonprofit to actually build those transitional housing wherever they at in the country. So, but notice how it got a $7.4 million contract.
Yeah.
That contract didn't necessarily have to be welfare to work.
Yeah, I have a buddy out of Columbus, Ohio, Ralph Carter, one of my fraternity brothers, who is doing some amazing thing in his community, and we were just discussing this back in maybe about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
So yeah, Dr. Jones, this sounds like I need to get on your calendar as soon as possible. I know Nadia is on your calendar, but I need to know more about this here because my job is the real estate portion of it, and everyone on the call know.
The CDFI fund was established by the Rico Community Development, and this is the utopia of it. This is the godfather. The CDFI Community Development Financial Institution Funds were created to promote economic revitalization, community development through investment. They will take and give to your nonprofit $5.2 billion to now loan out to community entities through new market tax credits and other programs to actually renovate and establish low to moderate income housing all over the country.
So, question: how does that? I know maybe we're going over. How does that tie into opportunity zones?
Opportunity zone. Tell me what opportunity zone is. Give me
So
your
the
definition.
opportunity zones are the zones that government created to develop to help develop economic opportunities and develop it in low income and low income neighborhoods.
Well, it used to be. It's the same thing. It used to be different name.
Okay.
It used to be a different name back in the day. It's what they did was if I'm a business owner and I wanted to do business, they would tell me to go put my office in a certain neighborhood so that I can have income coming and people can actually work for me in that neighborhood to revitalize. So it's the same spirit of opportunity zones in which they have designated and they have their own criteria as to what the destination is. And it's going to all still, it don't matter. Now, remember this. I want you to all keep this in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody comes up with an idea and they go to Congress and get it fulfilled, okay? So what I'm saying to you is that it doesn't matter what new program they're saying. Remember this. It's all going to be the HUD income limits. It is
Okay.
the name.
Okay.
It has to be HUD. It's the grandfather. It has to be them
Absolutely.
HUD income limits.
Yeah, I see the opportunity zone here, Dr. Ivan. I see it through IRS.gov, and when I typed in the opportunity zones there, I see that yeah, it's an opportunity to invest in distressed areas across the country. But the main purpose of it is to develop economic growth. You know, in those low, Dr. Jones don't like it. The low income communities, like we don't like to say low income.
Low opportunity areas.
Low opportunity. I like it. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, because again, I'm interested in that because where we have some investments, it does fall into the opportunity zone. So maybe we can tap into the CDFI. It's CDFI, Dr. Jones?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
Now that's the only one I'm going to do.
Okay.
And when I decide to retire, that's the only one I'm going to do. Okay. I want to teach you one more I found, and this is another major door. Because remember, I'm a for-profit. So I don't want you to belittle your for-profit thinking that you're gaining a lot with your nonprofit.
Okay.
All right, a lot of music, you guys, okay?
Sure. Now present, Dr. Jones.
Did you hear? Did you say something?
This is Dr. Roberta Jones. Good evening. Did you know that the government is recruiting business owners and social entrepreneurs, which are nonprofits, to help supply the stock of real properties here in the United States? Did you know that? Breaking news. One thing about our U.S. government that they never wanted to compete against the entrepreneurs and we the people in effect. So what they did is that there are several buying arms of the U.S. federal government. And there is the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and then there is the DOT, Small Business Utilization, Disadvantaged Business Icon. Another one is the General Services Administration. And these are basically the buying arms of the federal government. And what I'm getting ready to talk about now is that particular arm. The U.S. federal government is the largest employer in the United States, and they're recruiting for-profit businesses and social entrepreneurs to connect with them to help supply the stock of real properties. The GSA, Real Estate Investment and Savings Strategy, is the Public Building Services, PBS, plan to deliver real estate solutions to federal agencies and provide savings to the American taxpayer. Commercial real estate, office buildings, warehouses, industrial buildings, parks, daycare centers, homes for those with human trafficking, foster care, rehabilitation centers, housing for the homeless, single-family residence, multi-family residence, transitional housing, veteran homes, elderly homes, assisted living homes, and expanded employment opportunities.
What's up, E? All right.
Yeah, lots of information. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So I think there's going to be at least a follow-up episode B.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot for me to digest. I know I have some additional questions. And I know Dr. Jones is very passionate. She will keep going.
Yep.
And so maybe, if your schedule permits next week, Dr. Jones, will you be able to, you don't have to commit now. I would like for you to commit in front of everyone. 2 o'clock next week.
I'll email you. Okay. It was a very good class. So I'm glad that I know what to bring to the, because I didn't know what to prepare. They were like, Dr. Jones, can you just come? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
you're a wealth of knowledge, and I think anyone can learn whenever you speak. So appreciate that.
Wow. Can you say that one more time? Can I repeat?
You are a wealth of knowledge, and anyone can learn whenever you speak.
Wait. I have to have permission because I just released on my tape and a video I just released. I'm gonna show it to you before I go, but I would love to hear that. Now, what was my compliment?
You are a wealth of knowledge, and anyone can learn anytime you speak. And if you want, I'll say it in Spanish.
No.
Okay.
It's really good. And you down in what part of Florida?
I'm in Southwest Florida. I'm in the Naples area.
Okay, cool.
Come visit anytime.
Yeah, I'm gonna be down there because I'm working with an apprenticeship program to bring a lot of Latinos into barbering,
Okay.
become a barber, and yeah, and so I'm working with that, and I picked Florida, Texas, and Arizona.
Okay.
These
Well,
states.
let me know when you come in when you come down.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, well, we'll see everybody next Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And the people in the middle of the continent are on their own for time zones.
Take care.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.